Who's your daddy and what does he do?
The First Coast's most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, certified by WeatherRate.
Hey there, good morning. I hope you are staying warm out here on the First Coast this morning. I'm meteorologist Robert Speta. I am joined by the legendary, has to take off his glasses because he's so darn cool.
Stop it.
And amazing Lewis Turner. Good morning, Lewis.
Stop. Don't really stop, though. You keep going. Legendary? Did you talk to my mother before we started this?
Okay, your mom, she's like, can you please compliment him more?
Just compliment him once. Help his ego out. The poor boy. My beautiful boy. My poor boy. So you want to talk temperatures, Robert? You want to talk about cold air? You want to?
Yeah.
Okay, and we got something else special coming up in this stream as well?
So first we're going to start off talking about the cold air. We're taking your questions on Facebook and YouTube as well, by the way. But we're also talking about this frigid air. We had a weather impact alert this morning.
Yes.
That's behind us now. That was till about 9 o'clock. But it ain't warm now. Temperatures mid-30s for the wind chills at least. Still 31, 32 out there towards Waycross. It's cool out here, Lou.
It is, and it's interesting. We're on the news side of things here on Good Morning Jacksonville. We were talking about how JEA had so cold, in fact, JEA had suspended power cutoffs for folks who may be delinquent on bills for the day. So it's one of those things where safety is certainly a concern that had been from overnight, and so you spend 2 solid weeks of 80-degree temperatures, whether you're even a meteorologist or just a day-to-day individual living out in it, your body and your brain start to tell you, okay, it's spring. It's spring. I mean, it's nature. It's in our systems. Bears hibernate and wake up, and flowers start blooming, and pollen gets released. We had pollen counts through the wazoo. Over that last 2 weeks, people were getting sick because of it, but as seasons do and science does, we're right back to it. So looking out, beautiful blue skies. We've got great sun out there. If you were just looking out the weather window, Robert, you'd say, I could probably make it in short sleeves, but it's not that Florida cold kind of day. It's truly cold.
But it's if you know what you're looking at, it really is those kind of cold weather clouds. They're the shallow stratocumulus that you see, and it is just an indicator. It is chilly, and I think that's the big issue with this. Is you mentioned we've been spoiled. The pollen, it feels like the tree over my house has just been puking on my car, yellow goo. For the past couple weeks. So
that ain't puke, brother.
It's
love language.
It's
tree love, brother.
It's a little tree love on my car.
We're making baby trees out there. So this is safe for the internet's safe. So the high, we talk about highs. We think cold, wrap and peel. We say a lot. So the high today is just as much a story as those early morning lows.
Yeah, just 50, but if you count the wind, which is still going, 15 to 20 miles per hour, so the 40s. And I think this is important, Lou. You play baseball, softball, right?
Oh, yeah. Excuse me.
It's not going to be pleasant out at the Jacks College Baseball Classic this afternoon. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And a lot of college kids there, I'm sure they'll be partaking in adult beverages to help them think they're staying warm. But it's going to be breezy. And here's the deal. The wind is going to be coming in from the north and east, which is going to take it almost straight on to the grandstands there, right?
Yep. That northeast is like a center field wind. Straight in from center. So you made a cool point on Good Morning Jacksonville about the pop in the bat and the potential for fewer home runs.
I wonder if we'll get some foul balls that just go straight
up and back over to our station, maybe.
Right.
Get a few.
Okay, I'll park on the other side of the parking lot here.
Yep. So chilly. I do remember I played baseball throughout high school in South Carolina, so we'd start. Our opening week would always be end of February, and it's very cold there, and playing ball in the cold, that ringing in your hands, that feel, I can still feel it off of, one off the hands, or even one right off the end of the barrel that wasn't quite A+ contact, and I was not an A+ contact guy. I always just snuck it around. So it happens. So that's chilly for those players. But sitting in the stands, you're going to want to go see your team. I mean, Ohio State's coming to town.
Yeah.
Alabama's coming to town. NC State's coming to town. And Coastal Carolina's coming to town. That's 4 brand-name college baseball teams. If you want to see that. And, I know we've got all of those teams, notably Ohio State, Alabama, NC State. I know Coastal's more of a regional thing, but they're very, very popular out of Myrtle Beach. Those are some huge fan bases, and even whether they're traveling here or we've just got plenty of Ohio State, Bama, and NC State Coastal fans that live here. So they're going to be rowdy. I want to go see my team colors. I haven't seen my alma mater in so long, so people are going to be dedicated. It's going to be a great event, but cold, so absolutely take the advice of bundling up, because by the end of that nightcap, that 6 o'clock first pitch roughly, depending on when that first game ends at 2, which would be about 6, should be 6, be right on the dot. They move pretty good. But that by the end of that game, you're talking about 10 o'clock, walking back to your car, a little breezy, a little coolish, as my dad would say.
It's not going to be pleasant.
Yeah.
Also, dude, I want to give a heads up more on the less than the meteorology side of things, but we're experiencing it around the station, so we're kind of first-hand knowledge on it. There are road closures here.
Yep.
So getting to ViStar Ballpark, it just, follow the traffic signs, follow the I'm sure they're going to have people out here pointing where you need to go, and just follow them, because and don't be like, oh, I always go this way. I know that way is easier. Now there you got the construction going on over there. You got construction going on over here, which is cool for our downtown. I mean, it's just, I counted 5 cranes the other day here.
Yeah, doing work. And we've got World of Nations this weekend as well.
Yes.
So that's always massively popular. But so that'll be coinciding with baseball that's going through the weekend too. So busy parking. There you go. There's your World of Nations forecast, and certainly getting better in the afternoon. So especially by that Sunday, even though we could have a little bit of a drizzle, a chance. But Robert, I mean, getting back up to the 67 mark, that's about seasonable. Still a little below, but about where we should be.
And that 20%, I really want to stress, is it's more like covering my butt type of weather forecast there.
Yeah.
That I think you're going to be okay, but there could be the occasional where you think just like Mother Nature is just spitting on you for a minute. And it's not going to be a shower. It'll be gone. Speaking of World of Nations, let's get the comment section going on here. Even if you don't have a weather question, if you're going to World of Nations, how many countries are there? Do you know offhand?
I don't.
I know it's a lot. It's a couple dozen.
Yeah.
All over the world. Tell me the best spot to go on Facebook or YouTube. We got comments open on both of those. Tell me the best spot to go, and what is the food you're looking forward to the most? What about you, Lou? What are you looking for?
Well, so we're going to cover everywhere. So I know Keitha this morning mentioned Caribbean food. That's her thing, having Jamaican culture in her family. I tend to gravitate towards the kind of the more Asian continent, specifically like the Far Eastern country. So Thai food, any of the Japanese food you had mentioned, Robert. Those, if I can get, especially on a cold weekend like this, you piqued my interest this morning. You had mentioned a good ramen bowl,
yeah,
or you know what I mean, or
even Thai chili. If you get some good, just like good Thai noodles, curry or something like that.
Yeah, get a little spice in your bones. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's it right there.
And get it done right, because I'll cook it myself, but I'm not doing it right. I'm doing.
Oh yeah, of course.
I want to have it done.
I mean, I lived in Japan for about 10 years.
Right.
And the World of Nations is one of the few spots in this area, because actually for Japan, it's the Japanese society that puts it on. So it's all people that are like cooks that they trained in Japan. They know how to properly cook this food. It's not cup of noodles out there.
Right.
And I mentioned it just for that country, but it's the same case for all of the presenters out there. They're authentically presenting the food from their area, and it's good.
Yeah.
I go in there with a mind on budget and walk away thinking I spent too much and thinking I'm just grotesque inside. I feel good.
But you walk a lot too. I mean,
yes.
you're doing laps. So I mean, everything in life, balances out. I would say not necessarily in moderation the calories but that's okay. Go after it. Get after it. World of Nations is a great tradition here in our First Coast. Seawalk Music Festival is another great one out there at the beach. So, you're dealing cool and breezy. You're on the ocean. So have that in mind, Robert.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key thing. I think sea surface temperature is still about 57, 58 out there. So with an onshore breeze, it's going to modify things up. So it's not going to warm up all too much. But also, if you're going to Seawalk Music Festival and you're thinking, I'm going to jump in the water, just don't. Yeah. One is a little bit of a rip current due to said onshore breeze. Two, it's cold. It's just not going to be pleasant. I say that as I am 100% confident while it is ongoing, our chief meteorologist, Tim Deegan, will be out there surfing.
Yep.
But
research. He says research.
He says research. He's been doing that every day for like 45 years. So no stopping him. But yeah, if you are out there and you just get out there and enjoy it, there is still that chance of a couple sprinkles near the coast, some onshore clouds, but it's nothing that I would have hinder. I know on our live cam that we were showing earlier this morning. Oh my. Okay.
It's a party in here. We got a little flicker.
I think you kind of see it on your face a little. We got a we got a flashlight a light switch rave going on in here right now. That's goodness gracious. There it
goes.
Oh, there we go. It's better. It's shut off now. Fantastic. Live stream. That's how you know this is not recorded, guys.
Yeah.
We're
with you right now.
So yeah, if you're gonna head out there, just keep that in mind. I think there was a Ferris wheel set up too, which I thought was kind of cool. A little callback to I believe it was like in the 50s and 60s. There was a Ferris wheel out there at the pier back when you used to be able to drive on the beach before my time and your time, Lou. But I've seen pretty pictures of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So let's talk ahead.
Yep.
And then we're going to switch gears to a rocket launch here in just a moment. I'm still waiting for some of you guys' comments, which Carmen says German food.
German food, nice.
What specifically in German food? I mean, I'm half Polish. I'd go for the pierogies. That's some good stuff.
Good stuff.
But good brat. What do you think about that?
Good brat, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Good brat and beer, that's the combo, right?
Brat and beers. I wonder are they selling beer over there though?
That's a great question. Not sure.
We need I need a World of Nations a spokesperson to let me know what is the adult beverage situation. Not that important. Food's number one important.
Number one.
Hey, so yeah, that's what we got so far. I do want to look ahead though, and then we'll switch gears over to what's happening.
We got to launch in about 6 minutes. 10:19. Yep, SpaceX. So I know we had a couple of live cameras looking at that, looking at our weather pattern, Robert. With that cold air, looking to a little bit further down, as that cold high shifts, so too will our winds, which is a benefit, a help, get done with these northwesterly and northeasterly, and you get a little bit more of a warmer breeze. But check it out, we got another wave, another little low coming out of the Gulf yet again, and could be interesting for our friends in Central and South Florida. But we look through the weekend and then beyond into next week, and how about those 70s making that return, Robert?
Oh, what was our average at right about now? I gotta pull up the almanac.
As far as afternoon highs, what we should be doing, we're right at 70. We might have, So
that being us back above average.
Yeah, so we'll be about above average by the end of the month. The average for the last day of February is 72. So we're steadily, our daily average is steadily climbing. We'll be at that, 71's normal, 72's normal by the end of next week as we're approaching kind of the 1st of March and getting into that. And again, looking at the long range, which helps us out, look more kind of dial in on patterns and more dial in on teleconnections, what's happened all over the globe. You look at March. Now, I don't want us to we're looking at Wednesday and Thursday, and we're like, oh, good. Mid-70s, it's back. Okay, so certainly now that we're ending off February and we're getting into March, certainly we're done with the cold weather now, right? Let's not get lulled into it again, because I always kind of look at St. Patrick's Day as my day of like, okay, well, we can, and then spring break, but we've certainly had cold ones of those, and then think about Players Championship. We've certainly had some squirrely weather for those now that it's in March again. So, kind of think back on your history of those events, and we could still get a cold break. In fact, we've got a system coming in Thursday. Robert's been talking about on Good Morning Jacksonville that could usher in even more colder air. And you're looking deeper into some longer range modeling, another cutoff low, big old Canadian blast could happen again first week of March. Of course, that's going to have to be adjusted, but it's just things we watch and kind of wonder, are we going to get us another chilly, cold even outbreak before we truly embrace spring?
Thanks, Canada. You beat us in hockey last night.
Don't
and then
start with me.
send us 20s this way. Just good for your maple syrup and beer. Jeez.
Moose.
Let's take a look outside though. Let's switch up gears. We got about 4 minutes.
Yeah, we got some cool camera looks.
We got a couple cool camera looks here. First off, I want to remind people what we're talking about here. So at Falcon 9 launch kicking off here in just a few minutes. Got some Starlink, that's it.
Yep.
And then once it gets up there, the first stage is going to come back down, land on a drone ship offshore. All super cute, cool. I say Falcon 9, but that is 100% a Falcon Heavy right on my screen there. So
yes, that's the big boy. Yeah.
Before all you fellow science nerds call me out on it.
Remember the Falcon Heavy launch?
I've been to an Artemis launch, which that just I have not been to. No, have I? Yeah, I've been to a Falcon Heavy as well.
I watched the Heavy launch from Crescent Beach with my son.
Oh, cool!
And remember, it's so big and that's not what we're watching today. So, just as we have the picture and just kind of reminiscing a little bit about Spaceline, I remember feeling that one. We can see them always if clear conditions, conditions, and especially in the evenings, you see them pretty well. In fact, we saw one the other evening. But that one you felt the shockwave come up the beach in Crescent Beach. It was awesome. So, it was just kind of like a rumble of thunder would be, but you're like that on a fair weather day. Kind of there. So this is a great look. So anybody, shout out to my mom, by the way, who's expert cruise. Her and my stepfather Russ are the cruisers, and they go out of this. They took us on a cruise last spring break. And so you go down this causeway to go hop on various ships, and you see one of the Disney cruises there. But if you are a cruiser yourself, you're familiar with this in Cape Canaveral there at the port. But what's great, and if you've ever driven this stretch, so cool, you can off at the distance, and it's mirrors make image look closer than they appear, whatever. But this camera, the VAB in the distance, very camera center. If you look in the distance, see that white rectangle there on the horizon line. That is the vehicle assembly building for NASA. And then just to the east of that, a couple miles is a couple of very historic launch pads, and that's SpaceX will be using, of course, those launch pads as well. And here's another look from inside the basin of the port as well.
So this is looking north. I can't see the VAB in there, but I do see a couple of the towers just kind of off in the distance. So we should be able to capture it here as well. Which, speaking of, we are T-minus 1 minute. That's based on their stream.
Yeah.
So we should be able to capture this live here.
They were saying, they've got a window to about 25 if necessary. And then would move to tomorrow. But I can't see any weather conditions that's going to prevent this from happening here in a few moments. So that's kind of
30 seconds out now. This is going to... she's all steaming, ready to go, sitting there on the launch pad. The wind is blowing a little bit near the coast, but remember, these are rocket launches. Yeah. It has to be like a hurricane out there for the wind to really kind of cause some issues.
Very cool. As we count down, so I just, you reminisce about launches, and I remember, telling about
there it goes.
There we go. Okay, so we've got a launch.
Let's go back to that one.
Yeah, we got.
Or maybe I was just seeing things there.
Were you watching on the stream?
I thought I was looking at the VAB, but it's going right now. There's 0 seconds. We got our launch going off right now. Should be somewhere on screen. She's up in the air.
Be interesting if we get some good clouds.
You see it anywhere on the screen there?
No, not yet. I wonder.
I'm gonna flip it over to the other camera.
Yeah, please do. You say that camera. If that camera is looking north, I'm seeing a couple of great seagulls. There we go, left side of the screen. You see it, Robert? They're going right up over the bow.
There it goes. Yeah, I see the rocket right there.
Right there over the bow.
We're at top left, just over the top of the
The Disney
the
ship
boat there. Okay,
Wow,
that's
how cool
about to
is
go
that?
off screen. I'm going to jump back to the other one. Let's see if we got that in screen.
Gosh, it's going to be so.
Oh, right side of the screen above the rope.
There it is.
Yeah, there
Yes,
you go.
There it is. So way far. They launch well east, several miles east of the VAB. So they get them out. And of course, SpaceX a different group, but going behind the Florida 511 sign. So we've got launch. That's awesome.
All right, so what we're going to do is try to pull back the picture here and see if we can get a little bit of a longer view. We're going to jump over to Jack's Beach's webcam.
Cool.
Looking towards the south now. We're going to have to peer through the clouds, unfortunately. We got the clouds out here. Hopefully you might be able to see it kind of, it would be almost in the middle left of the screen.
Yep.
Where you might be able to see kind of a rocket blasting on through between the clouds there. And it's going to look the same, kind of just this bright light off there. But kind of cool. Yeah, so she's ongoing. She looks like it's well over off the coast now, about a minute and a half into flight. Going about due east, so this is not a northern one, it looks like. This is going basically straight offshore due east versus going towards the north. So not going to be passing over Jacksonville, unfortunately. So you're probably not going to see it if you ran outside right now and tried to look at it. Outside, if you just kind of see it going up and off towards the east here, Lou.
Trying to look through those clouds. I'm not seeing anything, but it might be tough.
Yeah.
Tough view with the cloud cover that we've got.
But we did get in on a.
But we got it. We
Thanks
caught
for finding that traffic camera. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yep, very good
Imagine just driving down the highway and you see that just going up, and let's say you're going to Disney or something like that, and you're out from out of state, and you just see a rocket.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's Space Coast culture, though.
Right?
The folks down there living. I mean, the rocket launch is part of daily life now for folks. From Cocoa Beach to Melbourne. Down through the Indian River, and then of course over to at Orlando. What's really cool? You talk about cool views. Is when they have the night launch. And you can see it, UCF, their football stadium. Looking east from there, they've got some great camera angles where they can. You actually have the launch kind of in the background with the stadium in the foreground. It's excellent stuff. So yeah, that's some great Florida culture.
I got to tell you about Florida culture real quick.
The frontier of space. Tell me.
Speaking of driving down the road, and this was not a tee up for this, but I just remembered it. On Sunday, left here after covering the weather in the morning, driving towards the south. I was passing Daytona just about 2:30. And so what was going on this past Sunday in Daytona?
You had a lot of things going on Sunday, 2:30 Daytona.
Daytona
500,
driving on right before getting to I-4.
Yep.
I forgot the Daytona 500's going on.
Yeah.
And I hear, and it was the Thunderbirds in formation.
That was
just blasting up I-95.
That's so funny you said. I was actually there as well. I was at the outlet mall.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was, and it was cool. Yes, I was at the Tanger Outlets. Thank you.
Yes.
Andy on the ones and twos, my guy, shouting out. He's Mr. Florida culture.
So you saw the Thunderbirds as
100%.
well.
I watched them they were doing a great air show.
They were doing an air show.
So that's Florida things. You catch yourself. Oh, it's Daytona 500. And I'm in Daytona. You know what I mean? So actually, a good time to go to the outlets is during the 500 because you can see the air show going on, and most every human being around Daytona is at the so you can get some good shopping done.
I'm happy I went through when it just started versus a couple hours prior.
Sure.
Because it would have been a bit of a mess. Avoiding Buc-ee's on that specific day because I just figured that would be a little bit of a crazy mess, but. Got to see a cool little Thunderbirds. This is the first time I've ever seen them, but it was that blue and white, very keen, very visual, I suppose.
That's awesome.
So we just watched the Falcon 9 launch.
Good stream, Robert. That was a good catch with the rocket. I love it. We cover our cold air bases. We got a little bit of Florida culture with a rocket launch yet again here, and we're seeing some cool cruise ships as folks fortunate enough to be
Florida. Just need an alligator in here, and we got them all.
Oh, well, we've got an alligator farm camera. See, now that's thinking. Well, next time we got a launch, we'll mix in a gator. And concluding with our 7-day forecast, Robert, thanks for having me on.
Oh, well, thanks for coming on here with us, Lou. We're trying to do this every day at 10 for us morning crews, and at 4 for our chief meteorologist, Tim Deegan. He usually comes in here with Ross. So at home at this time, I can tune in to Facebook, YouTube, and just answer some or get some questions answered. Ask about the weather forecast of the day. Just before we go, I do want to answer a couple questions real quick here. Got Carmen said, any of the food out there came over from Germany in 1957. Been watching Channel 12 since 1969, Carmen.
69, shout out.
Shout out. She old school. She knows when Tim Deegan started.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. Thank you for being a loyal viewer. We appreciate it. The last launch was later in the day, and people at Epcot saw it going up of all places.
That's really cool.
That's cool. Just
Florida.
Oh, you gotta love it. That's why we love living here. Not enjoying the 20s for the chills this morning, but as Florida goes, it'll bounce back real quick. So we'll be back into the 70s next week. So stay warm out there.